everyone, and welcome to episode 103 of the Best Day Ever Crafting podcast. This is a podcast about my making journey and celebrating with you all the reasons why crafting every day makes for the best day ever. My name is Trish, and you can find me on Instagram as Tie Dye Diva. You can also find me on Ravelry as Tie Dye Diva, and you can also find me as the_fiber tree on Instagram. And the Fiber Tree account is where I post lots of content about planning and journaling and paper crafting. So if that's something you're interested in, then you might want to give me a follow over there as well. I'll have all of these locations listed in the description box below, which will also contain the show notes for today's episode. So welcome back if you are a returning viewer, and an extra special welcome if this is your first time here. This is just my little space on the internet where I get to update you on all of the wonderful things I'm working on in my crafting world. It has been quite a while. Did not plan to be away for this long. I think it's been about a month and a week, maybe about 6 weeks. But as I told you once before, if I am missing in action, it's just because life has been lifing. So it's been an interesting spring and summer. Just a lot been going on with health, but I'll just do a brief life update towards the end. I have so many things to share with you, so I should not delay any longer. So let's get started. Before I get into the making, I want to share with you our winners from our Year of the Sweater Make Along. If this is your first time here, me and Rochelle of the Queen's Yarn Boutique podcast are hosting a year-long make-along in which we are knitting sweaters and encouraging you to do the same. When I link to the Ravelry group in the podcast show notes, you will see a thread for the make-along with all of the details there, or you can refer back to previous episodes for either my channel or Rochelle's channel for all the deets. So because I've been away for a while, I actually have to draw two prizes. One will be for the May drawing and another for the June drawing. So I've already done that. And the winner for May is Loyola Girl, or Nancy is her real name. And Nancy knit a beautiful Wave of Change jacket in Lion Brand Hue and Me mustard. I'll insert a picture of her beautiful sweater here. So Nancy, congratulations. And this is what you will be winning. This beautiful sock set from the Farmer's Daughter. And the color is Hawk Moth. Oh, it's actually the Elephant Hawk Moth is the color name. So please send me your name and your full name and your mailing address, and I'll get this right out to you. So for the month of June, our winner is Nana GD2. Her name is Belinda, and she knit I'm going to try to pronounce this, the Sternenklar pullover by Hinterstein, and she knitted in a Magpie Fibers yarn. Her Ravelry page didn't say which base it was, but the color, it was Ground Control. So Belinda, you will be winning this beautiful skein of yarn here. It is a worsted weight yarn, and it is from Knit 3 Together. And I love their tagline because it says, because knitting with two friends is not enough. Very cute. So Belinda, please send me your full name and your mailing address, and I will get this out to you as soon as possible. Again, congratulations to our winners. Okay, so let's get into the making. I don't even know where to start. There are so many things. I have a huge bag of whips, and I have a huge bag of crafting supplies that have come in the mail since we last chatted. So I'm just going to grab something and talk about it. Let's just get into finished objects. I have 3 finished objects to share with you. They are all socks thanks to the summer sock camp hosted by Kay Litton, who's also known as the Crazy Sock Lady from the Crazy Sock Lady podcast. So the first pair of socks that I completed, I'm not able to enter these into the make along because these were actually completed from a sock blank. So let me show you finished sock here. So here we go here. This, I love these socks. It, as I said, this was a sock blank, and this is Knit Picks Felici yarn. Pretty sure this color is discontinued. This was cranked for me maybe about 2 years ago, and I just absolutely love these colors. They just remind me of fall, and because I just thought they were so autumnal, I decided to use this contrasting yarn to do the toe and the heel. So if you've never seen a sock blank, it's essentially this long tube that's been knitted on a sock machine. And I believe this was done on the Erbacher Speedster machine, I believe. And you can just see how beautifully even the stitches are. And this hasn't even been blocked. Actually, none of the socks I'm going to show you today have been blocked. But I really love the way they turned out. So you have a long tube and you have to basically cut into the tube to create a sock and an afterthought heel. I will link to my favorite tutorial for doing an afterthought heel. It used to be my go-to for knitting socks, but here lately I've been gravitating towards just the basic heel flap and gusset. But there are several other heels that I would love to try. I want to try the German short row heel. I want to try the Eye of Partridge heel. And there are a couple others, Fish Lips Kiss heel, I definitely want to try. So very happy with the way these turned out. Here is sock number 2. So these just need to be blocked and put away for cooler weather. So sock number 2 and finished object number 2. These are here. You've definitely seen these before. So here it is on the sock blocker. Here is sock number 2. And I absolutely love these colors. So this yarn was dyed by Knitted Wit, and I'm not sure if she's still dyeing yarn or not. If she is, I will put her shop into the show notes, or I will just link to my project page, which will have a link to her sock yarn. But just a basic top-down sock. This is the pattern I've been using quite frequently here lately from Kay Litton. It is the it's the Magic Loop. I'm drawing a blank. Hold on, it's going to come to me. Anywho, it is a sock pattern by Kay Litton of the Crazy Sock Lady, better known as. And I knit this on a US 1 knitting needle, 2.25 millimeter. I did about 1.5 inches of 2x2 ribbing. Basic heel flap and gusset as the pattern tells you to, and then just finished off with the toe. So absolutely love these. These, I think I mentioned on the last episode, these were going to be for my son, but I'm second guessing that. Although I don't know, because these might actually be too small for me. I knit them to size for his feet, but he informed me yesterday that a pair of socks that I knit him, that I just gave him not long ago, has a hole in them. And I'm just not understanding how this keeps happening. So he is knit worthy. but maybe not for socks. Maybe for hats and mittens or gloves, maybe, but maybe not socks. Okay. Final finished object and third pair of socks. The previous pair can be entered into the drawing for the make along, the summer sock camp make along. So this lovely pair is here. Aren't these so beautiful and cheery and happy? So this is from the Yarnable subscription, and if I'm not mistaken, I think this was the May colorway for Yarnable. Same pattern by Kay Litton. On this one, I did a deeper heel. You can see I did a 2x2 ribbing and about 2 inches. And I just love the way this turned out with these really cool micro stripes. And here is sock number 2. And I didn't plan this, but I really love how on each heel, there's this little pop of lime green. There's not a lot of lime green in this sock. So that's why I just thought it was so cool that at least each heel has just that little pop of lime green. These are for me. And these will go in my sock drawer for cooler weather. So that's it for finished objects. So let's move on into works in progress. So let's just get into what I do have right in front of me here. These are in no particular order. They are just as they appear in my whips tote. So let me see here. So I decided to cast on for an Age of Brass and Steam shawl. This is a free pattern by Orange Flower Yarn. It is a classic, and it is a very simple top-down shawl with eyelets. And I'm just going to show you. I'm going to insert a picture of it right here. And here's a picture of the schematic. So you can see these little holes here. These are eyelets, and it is a triangular shawl with some increases on both sides that make the shawl just come out. It's how can I put this? It's wider than it is deep, which makes it a really nice shawl for tying around the neck. This shawl is not meant to be worn around the shoulders. It's definitely meant to be more like a kerchief or just something that can be, as I said, worn around the neck. Trying really hard not to hit this microphone. So here we go. And let me pull out a little bit of this yarn. Here's the progress on my shawl. It's really, really pretty. I hope that the camera is doing this color justice. Let me bring it up a little closer so hopefully you can see some of the nuances of color. And there are the eyelets there. So the yarn that I'm using to knit this is from Nutiden. The brand is On Our Ock Air. It is a Swedish brand, and they just have one base of yarn, and it is this beautiful Nutiden. It is one of the very popular unspun yarns. So many makers are really enjoying the virtues of unspun yarn, myself included. Behind the scenes, I have been stashing away so much Nutiden because I have dreams of making this beautiful oversized sweater in different colors, just huge box of color, just something I can like pull over. And when it's really, really cold outside, or if I'm just going to run out and run errands, something I can use as a coat and just put another shawl, a shawl on with it to stay warm. So maybe one day I'll just do a special episode and show you all of the colors of Nutrident I have been accumulating in the past few months. So I am knitting with this double-stranded, holding two strands together. And you see how thin this yarn is. There are many people who knit with this yarn single, just one single strand. I have tried and without success, because unspun yarn, while it's so beautiful and so lovely, it does require just a bit of a learning curve to learn how to work with it. And that is because unspun yarn will break apart in a minute. This is the nature of unspun yarn. It is so loosely spun. It is spun just enough to keep the twist in. What that does is it gives you an extremely airy and lofty yarn. I don't know whether you can see the halo on this. It's almost like I added mohair to this, but I didn't. And this color, I'm going to put the name of this color down here. But this was it last month's update? Yeah, I believe this was in June's update. So just an absolutely beautiful color. And the owner, or one of the owners of Nutrident, she actually knit this same shawl in this same color, and I fell in love with it. So it's a very quick knit. The pattern calls for DK weight. I did not do a gauge swatch. I never do a gauge swatch for a shawl. If I had to guess, I would say this is working up to more like a worsted weight, but it's still working out really, really nice. And as I showed you this schematic, you can see that there are really only 3 sections, but I will probably make mine a little bit bigger than that. So we'll see. We will see where it takes me, but again, I just love it. Love, love, love it so much. One of the beautiful things about Nutrident is that, you look at it and you think you're just seeing this light lime green, but when you get really close up on it, you can see the grays and the browns and maybe even some black. It's just an absolutely beautiful yarn, and this is my first time actually knitting with it. So very happy the way this is turning out, and I think when I block it, it's just going to be even more beautiful. I am knitting this on a US 8 needle. And yeah, I think that's all there is to share about that. See here, look at that. There's even like a little speck of orange. Just so many surprises with this yarn. So if you can get your hands on some, then I highly, highly recommend it. It is the fastest international shipping I have ever received. I almost always get my order within 2 weeks, which is just amazing. Sorry about that. I think I hit the camera. So again, that's finished object number 1. Oh, and I should show you this beautiful bag that it's hanging out in. This is my Pamper Tote by Hohi & Co. You go there. I love the way that the handles are starting to age, and the leather is just so lovely and supple. When I got this bag, the handles were really light tan, and now, as you can see, they are starting to age and patina, and I love that. Get a sip of water before I continue. Okay, whip number 2. So this is my Boxy pullover by Joey Locatelli. I'm going to insert a picture of it here. And I won't go into a lot of details about this because you have seen this before. If you are not new here, if you are new, then this will, I do have a Ravelry page for this, and you can see all the details there. So this is where I was. This is where I was the last time we chatted. You can see I've got about 4 inches into this. The colorway is Vibranium by Queen's Yarn Boutique. And I'm just waiting for more yarn to come in so that I can complete this. So again, this is the V-Neck Boxy by Joey Locatelli. And this is hanging out in my Fat Squirrel Fibers bag. So beautiful. I just checked her website yesterday, and she does have some bags listed in her website. So if you feel like you've never been able to snag a bag from her, then she does have a couple of bags on her website now. Okay, so let's continue with our whips. The next whip is a sock. This is a cast on for summer sock camp, and this is my very first time knitting a Scrappy sock. Not sure if I even showed these to you the last time. So here we are. So I did a pretty deep cuff on these two. This is a 2x2 rib, a little pop of color at the top of the 2x2 rib, and then another pop of color here at the end of the 2x2 rib. And there's another huge block of color. And now I'm just continuing on with this blue. And I think what I'm going to do is I am going to complete the rest of this sock in blue. And I'm going to do the toe. I might do the toe in this pink. So we'll finish it up with this pink toe. And then the next sock will be cast on with the blue. I will knit the body of the sock in the rest of this here. And this is the leftover yarn from the blue socks I showed you earlier. So I really like that I'm getting quite a bit of bang for my buck. And I'm going to do the pop of color at the top with this. And if I have more yarn, if I have more left over, hopefully I should have enough to do the toe and a pop of color with this. So that's the plan. So I really love the way these are turning out. These were also knit on a US 1 needle. There's my heel flap and gusset already done. And I'm just working my way down the rest of the way of the sock. So really, really cute, huh? Love these. A few ends to weave in, but I think I know it's going to be totally worth it. Totally worth it. Definitely working on my joins for here. You can see that that's just a little off. So let me know, what is your favorite method for joining a new color so that you prevent that jog? Because I would love to do more scrappy socks like this. So I think that's all I have to say about those. And these are hanging out in this adorable bag. I think there are more of these left on her Etsy shop. Let me see if I can see the maker. If I don't, I'm going to have to put it on the screen. I thought there was a tag. Hold on. This was recommended by the Crazy Sock Lady on one of her podcasts. Hold on. Maybe it's here. So Barley Pearls. This bag was made by Barley Pearls, and I realized I haven't shown you the bag yet. Here we go. It says Sock Madness, um, Sock Madness Forever. Really, really cute. And the theme of the summer sock camp this year is it's an 80s theme. So there are all those bright colors, which were definitely a characteristic of the 80s. So just a really, really cute drawstring bag. Next up is another pair of socks. Now you have seen these before, but I'm not sure if you have seen one of them completed. So let me get this one on a sock blocker so you can see it. I'm just keeping an eye on my mic and making sure that it still says green. Because if I recorded this and realized the mic wasn't working, I would be inconsolable. Oh, these are so lovely. So these are All the Joy. Is the Find the Joy sock by Kay Litton, also known as the Crazy Sock Lady. So here is one sock completed. As I'm showing you this, I kind of feel like I've showed you this before, so we'll just go through this relatively quickly. Look at the beautiful patterning on this. So lovely. And here's my progress on sock number 2. So not a lot done, but definitely getting there. I might work on these a little bit today because I really did enjoy working on these and I have not picked them up in quite some time. The yarn that I'm using for this is from the Farmer's Daughter Sock Squad. And I can't remember the month, but it's like this really pale pistachio green, maybe a light sage, and it's got these little specks of brown. It's like a brownish gray. It's really pretty. And this is the mini that came with it. It's almost like this cadet blue. Also really, really pretty. Knitting these on a US 1, I usually knit all of my fingering weight socks on a US 1. And these are hanging out in another cute project bag. Let's see here. I cannot tell you who because there's no tag, but I love it. Just the same. This was from Etsy, I believe. I just came to come across it one day when I was browsing, which is very dangerous, especially when you have no willpower like me. Here's another work in progress that I have not shown in quite some time. I am still working on my granny square crochet blanket. And this is one of the squares I have recently completed. So this is the basic color scheme. Basically, that's the back side. Basically, all of the primary colors, just deep saturated greens, blues, yellows. I believe I've got some oranges, and then just variants of those colors. So there will be no pastels in here. This is probably about as light as it's going to go. And this was in a self-striping sock yarn. It just happened to be the way that knit up, stitched up, I should say, because this is not knitting, this is crochet. So I'm really, really enjoying these as well. And some of the squares will be solid, like this one here. You can see how well that will coordinate together. So all of these blocks are going to be joined at the end. So yeah, this is a great project to take along with you when you are just out and about or for car knitting. Of course, not when you're driving, but definitely a great project for car knitting. Don't know if I cast on another one. So I think this makes about 15 squares total that I've done. Next time we chat, I will just update you on all of the squares, just show them all to you. Really, really quick. This is hanging out in one of my trundle bags from Majic, Maine. I love this color. It's like a honey. I believe it is honey. So let me share with you. I've got 2 more whips, including the one that's over there that I've got to get up to get, but that's okay. So this is the first time you've seen this actually in progress. I just showed you the yarn the last time, I believe. Got my point protectors on here because I'm learning my lesson. So this is a test knit vest that I'm doing for Vanessa Smith of Vanessa Smith Designs. And as you can see, this is as far as I've got. This test knit is due on Friday of this week. And I've already texted Vanessa and let her know that I'm not going to be able to complete it. Just because of life stuff that's been going on. I know I'm not going to get it done by Friday, and I just haven't had the headspace to work on it, to be quite honest. So when I agreed to do the test knit, I thought life was like calming down a little bit, and then I had a couple of other things to take place that really took a lot of my energy and time and just emotional space. And that's why I've been knitting so many socks, because I just haven't had the mental space to for more complicated projects. And this is a cabled vest, so I definitely want to complete this, but it's definitely going to go into the whip pile for maybe just a few more weeks, and then I'll be able to pick it back up and work on it. Okay, so here is the final whip for today, and it is another pair of socks. Thank goodness for socks, because you still feel like I'm gonna turn this camera just a little bit. I still, when life gets a little wackadoodle, which we all know it does sometimes, then you still can be productive and have something to work on. So this pattern is also by Kay Litton, the crazy sock lady. These are her coffee break socks. And the best way I can describe this, because it is a patterned sock, it's like a modified rib. So that's all I will share with you about this pattern. But it is a 6-row repeat, and it is very easy to memorize. So absolutely love this. I also decided to do a really, really deep ribbing on this one. If I haven't measured it, but if I had to guess, I would say this is about 2.5 inches. And I've got my cute little popsicle on here. It always wants to turn around. It's shy. It doesn't want to be seen on camera. But how adorable is these? I also picked these up from Etsy. These might be from Barley Pearls also. It was a set of 3. So they're just fun, really fun little trinkets to put on your knitting to remind you why you're knitting. If this is a summer sock camp with the 80s theme. And then I did a contrasting heel and flap and gusset. So that's complete. And now I'm just working on to the foot of the sock. This yarn is from, I want to say Lang. Yes, this is Lang Yarns Continents Socks. The color is Australia, and it is their Super Socks color 4-ply super wash. There you go. And this is my first time actually. I want to check something out real quick because, oh yeah. Yeah, so that's what they look like when they're knit up. That's my doorbell, and I do believe it's Amazon, so hold tight. Another second. Okay, back again. So where was I? Knit these on a US one, and I'm really enjoying this pair of socks. I love that I have memorized the repeat, so I don't have to could constantly look at the pattern. But I really want to focus in on this yarn here that I used for the heel flap and gusset. This is Perennial by Kelborn Woolens. The first time I saw this yarn was in my local yarn shop at Fiber Space in Alexandria, Virginia. And I was completely smitten with how lovely this yarn was. The base takes color so beautifully. The colors are so saturated and lovely. And I just instantly thought this would make a lovely, lovely garment or sweater, but I didn't get any. And then my good friend Stacy, she was knitting a pair of socks, and she was using the Kelborn Woolens Perennial as a contrast color for her heel, toe, and gusset. And I just could not stop staring at this yarn. It just was so plump. And then it has this lovely halo because it's got some alpaca in it. And I just kept saying, I got to get that skein of yarn. I wanted that neon pink that she was using. So one day I said, you know what, I got to have it. So I went on to Wool and Company, and I love shopping with them because when there's just something small I want to get, their shipping is always free. So I went on there. I was going to purchase the pink neon, and I realized that they have this in minis. So they have, I'm not sure if they have 20 gram minis, but I got the 10 gram minis. And I was almost sorry that the heel flap and gusset was finished because I was enjoying the yarn so much. So here's the remainder. So I will definitely have enough for the second sock. And I'm debating whether I'm going to do the heel with this color, or I might just do a couple of stripes before the heel. So I have 2 of these, so I definitely have enough to do, the toe. So I definitely have enough to do the toe as well. And let me show you the way this Line Super Sock looks in the skein. So that's why I thought that this little pop of color would really bring out these corals in here. I'm just so pleased with the way that's turning out. And this is being held in a Black Pearl Majic bag. I love Shayla's bags. They're absolutely adorable. I'm going to get this needle in here, then I'll hold it up so I can show you. This was a yarn-centric purchase from this year. All the colorful Converse. How can you not? I just could not resist this. So, we got through all of the whips, which is amazing considering the sheer number that there were. I am still working on my Wave of Change jacket. I hope to pick that up in about a week or so and get that done. I didn't bring it with me in here because I had so much stuff, and it was in its own basket because it's like an Aran bulky weight sweater, and so I just didn't want to carry another. I was just being lazy. So I will show that to you the next time, maybe as a finished object. We'll see. We shall see. So I feel kind of bad because I have not been participating in the make along as much as I wanted to. I was explaining to a friend of mine, I have some pretty significant health goals I need to reach. So I'm working on weight loss, working on healthier eating, and just working on the emotional component of being overweight. So just doing a lot of work. And so because I know I want to lose weight, and I've already lost some pounds, and I was like, I don't want to knit a sweater until I feel confident with how much weight I want to lose. So probably wasn't a good idea to, well, I was saying it probably wasn't a good idea. I was telling my friend it probably was not a good idea to do a sweater make along, knowing which all these goals I had. And she was like, well, it's not, the sweater make along is not just for you. And that was a light bulb moment. So no shame, no shame. I should not have any shame or guilt for not completing a sweater, because I have thoroughly enjoyed looking at the progress that you all are making. So continue on. I plan to bring up the rear, so just hold on to your seats, because towards the end of the year, I plan on cranking them out. So stay tuned for that. But I do have a couple that are near completion, like the Wave of Change, as well as the V-neck boxy. I also have this idea in my mind that I would love to record an episode on what to knit when you're in between sizes. So if that's something that interests you, let me know, because I've already created this bundle of sweaters that I can start knitting for myself, even though I'm in between sizes. So let me know if that's something you're interested in seeing. Okay, so let's move on into a few things that have come in the mail for my crafting. The first thing I'm going to share with you is my recent acquisition of Newton yarn. So here it is. Let me see, do I have my paper with the color? I think I left it in the room. If I can acquire it, I'm going to put the name of this color right down here. But look how pretty this looks against my gray hair. So I could not resist it. It is blue. Again, that's one of the things I love about Newton. This is definitely, I would say, like a storm blue. It's like how the clouds look just before it's about to storm, but you can see you've got some dark speckles of blue, some gray, some black, some white. Just absolutely beautiful. So I've got two 100-gram, or these 50-gram plates. I think they're 100-gram plates. So I'm going to wind these together so that I'll be able to use them in a project. Possibly this might go into the colorful sweater I want to make. So we'll see. We shall see. So that's one thing. Another thing is that a couple of weeks ago, Knit Picks had a sale. They had a $2 and a $4 sale. So I picked this up. This is their Snuggle Puff, and it is this color is Platypup. Platypup. And this yarn is 75% Pima cotton and 25% nylon. You can pull one of these out so you can see it. It is definitely as you can see, it's really fluffy. I am concerned that this is going to peel like crazy. But I also think that it's going to make an absolutely beautiful garment. So there is a sweater pattern I want to knit, and I can't think of the name of it, so I'm going to put it right here on the screen. So that's what this is reserved for. So I would like to get this cast on sooner than later. So like I said, this is Platypup. So these were $2 a skein. So that was like, this is $10 for a sweater. No, 20. $20 for a sweater, which is amazing, right? And I also, did I say, I'm not sure if I mentioned I got this in lime green as well. So let's see here. I picked this skein up from Etsy from Dion Yarns. And this is for Summer Sock Camp 2024. Definitely an 80s, 90s theme, don't you think? So beautiful. The color is Spotlight, and I believe these are still available in her shop. Great price point too on this for self-striping yarn. So definitely check this out. This is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend. So, so beautiful. Let's see what else is in this basket. These two skeins of yarn came in, I believe, after I podcasted last. The color is Key Bridge. And if you are familiar with the Key Bridge disaster that happened earlier this year, the Key Bridge in Baltimore completely collapsed. Unfortunately, there was a loss of life. Workers who were on the bridge lost their life. I believe it was 6 of them. And so Karita of Neighborhood Fiber Company dyed these skeins up. This was the Maryland Sheep and Wool show color. It completely sold out on day 1 of Maryland Sheep and Wool. And so she did a pre-order. So I ended up getting these on pre-order. And I was so happy to know that proceeds from the sales of this yarn went to the families of those who were lost in the Key Bridge collapse. So well done, Karita. Well done on so many counts. But this is absolutely beautiful. Haven't decided what it's going to be, but when I do knit it up, it's going to be knit up with great reverence and respect for that catastrophe that happened. Sometimes I think about it, and I still think it's just unbelievable how something so large can just collapse in a matter of seconds. So thank you, Karita, for creating such beautiful colors and for being a beacon in the community and always giving back to the community. So the final thing I want to share with you are the couple of sock squads that have come in the mail since we last chatted. This one here is from the month of April. Not sure if I showed this the last time. And this one here is from the month of July. So this is the most recent. This color is I Ride My Bike, I Roller Skate In. Cute. This color is Out of the Mouth of Babes. It is a really pretty pink. That's a big gap between April and July. To be quite honest, I didn't like May and I didn't like June, and I seriously thought about canceling my subscription. Maybe I'll show them to you the next time, or if you got them, then you know. When I got them, I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? None of the colors made sense to me, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll be able to figure something out with them. So before I close out, quick life update. Today is Monday, July 8th, and tomorrow, Tuesday, July 9th, I will be going into the hospital for surgery. This is something that should have been done late April, No, actually, late May. I plan to have this procedure done in late May, and so many things were happening. Family issues, um, family health issues. I had some health issues I had to deal with in addition to needing to have the procedure. And it was just a crazy time. I just kept having to postpone things, and it was a really, really stressful time. Long story short, I ended up having to get 3 breast biopsies. Breast cancer does run in our family, and the imaging that I took, because I had a basic mammogram, I had a CT scan, and I had a MRI, and all of the scans showed a different area of concern. And so I was sure that when I went in for my appointment, they were going to say, oh, you know what, we're just going to keep an eye on these and we'll see you back in 6 months. Everything raised red flags. And before I knew it, I was scheduled for 3 different MRIs, 3 different breast biopsies, none of which were pleasant, one of which was absolutely torturous. And so I was really out of it for a good 6 weeks. So that was going on since I last podcasted. And then allergies and just major congestion with the air quality. You can still hear it in my voice. Just a lot of things. But, as I always say, we keep it moving, right? We just keep moving and we find joy in what we can find joy in. So I'm sitting here editing the podcast, and I left a very important part out, and that is all 3 biopsies were negative. So thank goodness for that. And yeah, so couldn't leave that out. Didn't want to leave you hanging like that. So yeah. My hydrangea bush bloomed like it has never bloomed before. I'm going to insert a picture here of that. We were able to get to the beach a couple of weeks ago, and I can't believe I didn't take any pictures, but we went to Rehoboth Beach in Delaware for a day, and that was absolutely lovely. Got to do some tax-free shopping at the outlets. So that retail therapy was awesome. What else have we been doing? Just trying to just find just little things we can do to help lift our spirits. We did a minor remodel in the living room. I'm going to insert a picture here. Our furniture we had had for probably, I know it was over 10 years. I can't remember how long it was, but it was long overdue for a replacement. So we ended up getting, as you can see, a cream leather. I can turn the camera around, I think. See if I can turn this camera around so you can just see a better picture. There's yarn and there's cash. That gray ball is cash. So that's the color. And it really brightened things up in here, which I absolutely love. Our older furniture was about the color of this, in the color scheme of this wall, but much darker. And so we decided to get much lighter furniture. We decided to brighten the carpet in here, and it just makes all the world of difference. And it's going to be really nice while I'm recuperating to be able to enjoy just a cleaner, brighter, more open space. So that brought us a lot of joy. It was a lot of work, but I'm glad we were able to do it. So I think that's all I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for always being so supportive. Thank you for your comments on your previous podcast. You guys are always so encouraging, and I really, really appreciate that. Don't worry about me. I'm going to be fine with this surgery I'm going to be having tomorrow. I've got everything all set up. everything is set up for when I return home. Ray will be with me tomorrow and the one night I have to stay in the hospital. And I expect to bounce back relatively quickly. So thank you for being here today. Continue your sweater making for the Year of the Sweater Make Along. And leave me a comment below and let me know what you're working on. And what else did I want to say? Let me know if you're participating in the summer sock camp, or if you're participating in Sock Week, which is also coming up. Sock Week is a make along hosted by Nitty Natty of the Nitty Natty podcast. So I will also be doing that. So definitely got a lot of fun stuff going on as it relates to making. I've got my quilt I need to finish, and I have a blouse that I just have to put a facing in and sew up the sleeve and sides, and it's done. So I need to carve out some time to do that. I will have about 4 weeks off of work. So I'm hoping that my recovery goes well and I will have lots of time for crafting, which would be great. Because as you can see, I have a lot of whips and things I need to have done. So again, thank you for being here. And I will see you again in the next episode. Bye-bye.